Hi, my name is Bedford. I originally got involved with Project Censored because I heard there was a possibility to do a paper on the prison system in California, which is something I'm really passionate about, and from there I've tripped and fallen into passion after passion. One of the really interesting things for me is how going from one thing to another. I've done the prison system, Trans-Pacific Partnership, feminism, and I did a piece on, let's see, I don't even remember all of them now, but finding the connections between all of them even when you don't necessarily see the thread. And one of the other things I'm passionate about is bringing it to a whole bunch of people. I started a Project Censored club on campus because I was lucky enough to walk into the right teacher's classroom, and I wanted to make sure that other people had an opportunity even if they didn't. So it's great to see everybody that's here. Like they were saying, we actually came together last fall working on this project that was looking at the representation of women in media, and all of us in our research kind of took a different specific thing to look at. So as we go down, you'll hear about various different topics within the topic that kind of shed more light on everything and how it interacts together as a whole. When I was doing mine, I was looking at the representation of feminism in the news media. And so I don't know if you guys have ever turned on corporate news media. This isn't necessarily the venue for people that watch MSNBC and Fox and CNN and all those ones. But when you do see feminism come across as a topic in corporate news media, oftentimes it's what we at Project Censored call junk food news or news abuse. And that's when you take it and it's something where it's either not news that's presented as if it's news, or it is something that is a really important story, but it's presented in such a way that it twists it or it shifts the focus into something that is other than what it is. So with feminism, a lot of the times that becomes looking at specifically celebrities. Are you a feminist? Are you not a feminist? And asking that question. And for one thing, focusing on celebrities is a form of junk food news in itself, because you're saying the celebrities are news because they're news, basically. And in doing so, it very much narrows the discourse that we have when you're looking at that for these important topics. So I know one of the things going on recently with Bruce Jennings, I think I got it. Jenners, there we go. With the transitioning in whatnot that she's going through, going on, and that having gone onto corporate news media, but it's not in any sort of context. All you're doing is you're seeing it through this one specific celebrity, and that's very much narrowing down the context that the people are getting. It's narrowing down the conversations that are happening. And that same thing happens with feminism. Even in, people would say that transgender is not a feminist issue, but it certainly is. Because, again, a lot of people have this junk food news version of what feminism is. And in my research, I found that it is so much broader than I think any definition that I've seen at all. Even in finding organizations that use feminism as a leadership model instead of using it as kind of a rallying cry. And it's a different approach to leadership, because oftentimes, because of the way that our speech and our culture is gendered, leadership is something that becomes masculine, and it takes on those traits that are then associated with masculinity, of violence or those sort of power type things, and of a very pyramid kind of structure for leadership. And with feminism and sort of going against that, there's an opportunity for much different kind of styles of leadership, and leadership that is much more inclusive of grassroots and indigenous peoples, and organizing where you're on the same level as the people that you're coming in to help, instead of coming in from a higher place. So that was one of the interesting things that I found that, again, you're not going to find on corporate news media. Another thing is just when you look into it deeper, some of these issues, again, it's a lot broader than you might think. So for unions, for example, that's a feminist issue for various different reasons. But for one thing, if you are a woman in today's society, you may be better off as far as pay and benefits getting a unionized job than getting a college education. So think about that for a second. And women are increasing and increasing in unions. We're almost at 50%, and it's looking to be where women are going to be more represented in unions than men soon. And at the same time, you're seeing unions slowly being edged out. And at the same time, you're hearing on corporate news media, we don't need feminism. We don't need women to come together. But when you look at unions, when you look at these places where feminism is working, it's when people are coming together that women really have the best chance to get their voice out there, have the best chance to change the way that things are, and change the leadership style that we see everywhere. So that's kind of a little bit of what I was working on, and so that I don't take up all of our time here, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Ellie, and she focused on women in politics.